All right, so the four of you Vizsla have gathered together, and it's because you each have interesting news to share with each other. And so you've gathered at your favorite cafe. Mm-hmm. It's early morning. It's a November morning, but in Fartown, of course, it's always autumn. So it is always kind of the same kind of cool, crisp temperature. The leaves are always kind of brown and falling, and but it's a nice morning. You've gathered near the cafe that is in the neighborhood of Savion and Seru, particularly close to Seru's house. And this is because each one of you, the night previous, found a beautifully wrapped gift on the doorstep of each one of your houses. Even your house, which is supposed to be very, very hard to find.
Mm. Only smart people can find it.
This package has elaborate wrapping paper, a great big bow, and a tag on it, which reads, "There are 3 gifts in this box." And when each one of you opened it, you found 2 things inside the box. The one is an amulet, and it is in the shape of a raven. And the other is a simple piece of paper with a hand-scrawled note that says, "Find the girl from the other shore."
All right, and we each discover that we each have the exact same thing.
Yes, and on the other side of the piece of paper it says, "She knows what you need."
Ooh.
And yes, when you come together, each one of your packages appears to be identical. However, when Incalia and the Cicatrix when you just happen to kind of be comparing your amulets, a strange thing happens. The ravens, their wings begin to flutter, and they are drawn toward each other. Do you pull them away, or do you let them go?
I don't think so. Do we? We just... I don't.
I'll let it go.
Yeah,
let's see what this does.
They come together, forming sort of a hemisphere, not a hemisphere, a semicircle, like a crescent-shaped moon of the 2 ravens just sort of sitting nicely together.
Wow. What are your ravens doing?
I'll take my raven out and bring it towards the...
It does the same thing. The wings flutter, and it moves in close as though it wants to join with the other 2.
Right. I let it go.
Okay, now you've got 3/4 of a circle.
Well, I guess I'll do mine.
And not surprisingly, it finishes the circle. But being all wise and learned Vizsla, even before you got together, you did a little bit of study.
Yes.
You did a little bit of investigation, and you found out that your amulet all by itself has a power. It is, in fact, an ephemera object.
Oh.
And each of these is, now that you can compare notes, is different.
Okay.
So each one of these is an ephemera object. The only thing is, if it gives you a form that is other than what I've described, ignore what it says. But this is...
Thank you.
Ooh.
What did you get?
This is very useful. My raven seems to be able to shield me from spells that would seek me out. Various spells designed to locate me. I wonder if this is a message. What does yours do?
I can make... Mine is a raven soul, and it allows me to create illusion. Fills an area, and basically I can just create illusion in an area. How about you?
Mine emits a light that disrupts demons, devils, vampires, and ghosts.
Ooh.
And mine will reflect the next spell cast on me back to the caster.
If this is a message, I can't tell if they're helping us or hurting us.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to see vampires and demons and
Is there any chance that we've done any other research about the girl from the other shore?
Not yet, but that would seem to be a possible avenue of inquiry as you approach your seeking of information.
Well, I will finish my coffee off.
What do we know about ravens as a group? Like, do we...
Well, ravens are one of the animals associated with one of the four hearts, the Cicatrix family.
In general, what qualities do the ravens and the Cicatrix family communicate?
Well, it is associated with the heart is
Gallant.
the gallant. And so, well, you're a gallant. Why don't you explain to us
Well,
what
you
a
see,
gallant is?
the Order of the Honed Thought has actually written many texts upon this very subject. I would love to show them to you someday, but for the gist of it is that Vizsla argue about what exactly the raven's meanings are, and it's very contextual. So do you think
It could be associated with what does it mean to you to be a gallant?
in that case, it means quick thinking, bold choices, and illuminating new things through action, right? So that's interesting. I wonder if, maybe they expect us to go study, but perhaps they also expect us to go do something and talk to someone. Or
What do you think the significance is of the note saying this has 3 gifts? Is this the third gift, that it formed one single item, or is it some other significance?
Once they're all connected together, do they do something different?
You get the feeling that the answer is yes, but you're not sure what that is.
It has to be
It isn't something as simple as like the effects that you have talked about. It's connected to something else.
As a maker, maybe you have some insight about...
Yeah, does this seem like something that someone has, like a maker has made, or is it hard to know from just looking at a thing like that?
Seems very likely. There are other ways that this could be fashioned, but that's the most common way to make an item like this.
Well, I would...
But it's of incredible make.
I would like to spend a little bit of time just checking it out. If you guys are willing to let me hold it, and I will take it and give it a look and see what I can learn. I have a level of understanding, assessing, and identifying materials, if that helps. And so I'm gonna see what I can learn from it about maybe its origin and or what its purpose, like if there's a purpose to the entity itself.
Okay. You can make a roll.
Oh, okay. So I have a venture of 1.
Okay.
And I roll a 6.
The only thing that you're able to determine is with your skilled eye, you're fairly certain this was not crafted by human hands.
I think that this was not crafted by human hands. I don't know who that might have been, but that's kind of all I can pick up from it. And I can't tell anything about what it does or what its purpose is.
No.
It's either
Still a mystery.
a code or a map or...
I feel like we need to... I say, well, if that's all you found, I think that we should maybe go to a library or something and see if we can do a little bit more research.
I'll drink my coffee and roll my eyes.
And what would the topics of research be?
The Raven Heart, right? And the phrase "girl from the other shore."
Okay.
It's one of the things I would like to research.
Right, there isn't a place we know of offhand, right, that's just called the other shore.
No. Does that sound like something everyone would like to participate in? Maybe check out a few different libraries?
I might check out my contacts with Order of the Honed Thought and see if the Riddle Masters know anything.
And I would ask the others in my weaver cell.
Okay. So you spend maybe even a few days going through the different resources that you have, and you can't find a single reference anywhere to the girl from the other shore. You can find some general information about ravens and whatnot. There is a phrase that comes up now and again when you are reading about ravens, because in addition to being tied to a family, or rather, because it's tied to a family, it is also its own sooth card. And so that sooth card has meanings as well. But there's a phrase that keeps coming up, and that is, the raven wants what you have.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm assuming that I couldn't get into the libraries, so I went somewhere else.
That's fine. You have your ways. You have your people you can talk to, and there's at least some libraries that don't
still
know
let
who
me
you
in.
They probably don't know who you are, right? It's a big city.
Fair.
But you haven't been able to find anything about the girl from the other shore until it is actually Seru. You happen to be just in a bookstore looking around for that as a possible way of doing some research and looking. They don't really seem to have any interesting books to purchase. So bored, you are flipping through some magazines, some like gossip magazines. And you find a reference to the girl from the other shore. And it's a strange one. It just refers to the fact that Visley socialite Audsley Barron is hosting the girl from the other shore. And that's the entire sort of little gossipy news item. And that's from quite a while ago. It's from 3 months ago.
Have I heard of Audsley before?
Do you have any connection to like high society or anything like that?
Not directly.
Then probably not. No.
We could probably look up where to find her in a directory, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wouldn't be hard to find out where she lives.
Well, I will make a point to meet up with them and tell all you this.
Ooh. Is this... she's hosting the girl from the other shore?
That's what it said. That's all the information I have.
All right.
Was it all in caps? Like the girl from the other shore, like a band or a book or or was it a...
It was all in caps, yes. Or not in all caps, but it was capitalized as though it was a proper noun.
That might be a title.
Interesting.
Shall we find out where Audsley lives and go talk to her?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Our first card on the Path of Suns and the Silver Sun is the Watcher. And the Watcher is the sovereign of... mysteries. And so as a sovereign, it means everyone gets a +1 on all actions. And if that is your family, it's +2.
That's neat.
Nice.
Feeling pretty confident right now.
Okay.
So you look up where she lives.
Yeah, let's do
not
that.
hard to find at all. It seems as though she is quite a bit of a socialite, hosts a lot of parties. She's easy to find.
Should we send a calling card ahead, or should we just show up on her doorstep?
I think we should show up on her doorstep. I think I'm worried about if we need to get to the girl. I'm worried that Audsley may shoot us from her.
Where she can use turn us away.
So she lives in Fartown. The Fartown street that you walk down ends in a broad square. The buildings around it are connected by high walls of red stone. And each connecting street that leads into the square comes in through a high arch. Most of the buildings here are homes, tall and narrow, each one seemingly staring at you with a scowl, a smile, or even a wink. People fill the square. A young boy in weighted shoes sells helium balloons and bags of candy. An older woman offers knife sharpening from a pushcart. A group of teenagers gathers in a small circle and passes around a cigarette. Someone stands on a balcony high above you, and she's singing a mysterious song while silver orbs orbit her body. Ravens gather around a squat man in a rumpled suit, holding a scrawled sign that says, "Spells for sale." But perhaps most curious of all in this square in front of Audley Barron's house, someone's created a maze filling the middle of the square made of tiny paper dolls, each holding hands. The tall buildings and walls around you keep the breeze from disturbing this strange construction.
So like paper dolls?
Mm-hmm. They're very short.
Glorious.
But it's a weird maze.
Is it something that we could walk through, or is it something
If you walk very carefully.
Are other people going through it?
Right now you see there is a man and a young woman, and he's kind of leading her by the hand, and they're carefully walking through the maze, and it looks like they're enjoying themselves as they kind of get lost and have to backtrack.
I'm curious about this man with the ravens. I'm wondering. I stroll up to him and say, you got any good spells for sale today, sir?
So he's got this rumpled suit that just kind of seems to almost swallow him, right? The jacket's like 4 sizes too big, so his head just kind of pops out of the collar, and he's got a bowler hat, not entirely unlike Savion, but not nearly as nice and kind of rumpled, and he says, "Lots of good stuff."
I am listening behind you.
Excellent.
I'd like to know what he has.
I want a good cop, bad cop, this guy?
Sure. I'm sure it's not that good, I say.
And he says, "No, only the best." And while you're doing that, you're seeing that the ravens actually seem to be sort of nestled in, like into various pockets and whatnot in his coat, and they sometimes come and go, fluttering away, staring at you with their enigmatic black eyes, and then fluttering off.
Wait, does he have a list on his sign, or it just says spells for sale, but it doesn't list
it clearly
them?
is just some old piece of paper that he found and wrote himself, spells for sale.
I do like your ravens, I say.
He says, yeah, they keep me in business.
How so?
Oh, you know, ravens.
They want what you have.
Do you say that?
Yes.
He winks at you.
Well, have you seen Owsley Baron lately? I point at her house, which is right there, right? As far as we understand.
I don't know. Want to buy a spell?
If it's a good one.
He says, got one here that will keep you from drinking if you've been drinking too much.
No.
You know, some people need that.
Not me.
I get impatient and I walk off from this guy. He's not helping us, and all he's doing is winking. So I click my heels, a ways off, and I'm just gonna kind of study this house. So the balcony that the woman is singing out of, we think that's a balcony in the house of.
No, it's a nearby house.
Oh, that's a nearby one. Okay.
No, Owsley's house looks quiet.
What face does this house have? Is it smiling, winking, or scowling?
It is a welcoming, smiling sort of house. It's very nice, but clearly of Isley's house, in that you can just kind of tell it's got that strange quality to it, strange luster to the glass and the windows.
Well, I also think this raven spell seller is a little less than what I want, despite all the ravens. I'll come back, but let's go.
He, if you start to walk away, he reaches into his coat and he pulls out this book, and you can see that only about half the pages there. A bunch of pages have been torn off, and he opens it up and he flips through it. He says, "Oh, hey, I got one that'll clean your shoes."
I say, how much?
He says, "Oh, well, normally I'd probably go for a mage coin, considering that these are powerful spells."
Yeah, I'm a little light on the mage coins today, I'm afraid. Tell you what, I'll give you 10 crystal.
10 crystal. Oh.
I'll give you 12.
Oh, I see there's a lot of interesting clean shoes today. I see. Well, since interest is so high...
15 or nothing.
15 it is, he says. And then he just tears a page out of the book and he hands it to you.
I could have eaten the whole book if I
It
wanted.
is, you can tell, it is in fact a legitimate minor magic. Minor magical practice. And
Cool.
if you take the time to learn it, you will keep your shoes clean.
That's good to have clean shoes.
I shouldn't have written him off, you know?
He's got a whole book there. I said,
Not for much longer.
I'm going to saddle over to Atrix. Shall we knock?
We shall. Give it a knock.
Okay. Door opens almost immediately. There is a very tall man in a very nice, well-kept, well-pressed suit. He stands maybe 6.5 feet tall. He has a shaved head, and he has absolutely no mouth. And he looks at you expectantly.
I start making the motions to walk in, just without even saying anything. Does he? Does he?
He will politely step back and allow you to come in, but he's still looking at you, perhaps even more expectantly.
Yeah. Audsley, I'm sure, knows we're coming. Is she in the drawing room?
My eyes are just getting bigger and bigger as this happens.
All right. So at this
impressed.
point, I am going to have you make a roll, and you can, use your skills of persuasion or anything else that you want to apply there.
I will. All right, I will. So if persuasion will work, then my adventure is 4.
Okay.
And I rolled a 3, so 7.
Okay. He nods and ushers you inside. You see the two of them go inside. You have a chance to quickly follow in, or you can remain outside if you want.
Yeah.
We got our spell.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure my mouth fell open, but then I follow.
Okay.
We're in. Great.
All
Thought we
right.
were going to have to, steal an invite to the party or something.
I whispered to you, I didn't think that would work.
Neither did I. You never know until you try.
That's fair.
He leads you silently, of course, down a long hallway. It's well appointed with interesting artwork that looks... it's all in different styles, as though she's quite the eclectic collector, perhaps. And finally into a large sitting room where you see it's beautifully appointed, luxurious furniture, more beautiful artwork, and seated in a chair is this woman. And the most striking thing about her is not the beautiful gown that she's wearing and the elegant matching hat that she has with it, but is the fact that her very skin is a checkerboard of black and white. And she has a cigarette in a long black holder, and she seems to be reclining on this piece of furniture. She has a bird cage on either side of her, and in each bird cage there is a raven. Except the birds seem to be perched upside down on their perches, but they don't act as though they are upside down. They act as though the rest of the world is upside down. And she says, "Oh, good, you finally arrived."
I guess we're sorry to keep you waiting for days.
Well,
we're here to talk about the girl from the other shore.
What? Aren't you here from the Garant? Aren't you with the constabulary?
Oh yeah, tell us more about the situation, I say.
Ooh. Nice.
Good, she says. And she takes a long drag from her cigarette holder, and she says, well, as I said when I reported this, my house has been burgled.
Oh no.
Yes.
What was taken? Sorry, we want the details straight from your lips.
You never know who to trust.
She turns to the man in the suit with no mouth, and she says, "Max, show them." And he walks over to a curtained wall, and he pulls the curtain back, and there you see what looks like a large glass case, but the case has been broken open, so it is empty, with the exception of what looks like the bow of a fiddle or a violin. And then she very dramatically just says, "I don't know how I'll live without it."
Imagine we don't know exactly what it looked like before it was taken. Could you describe it, please?
Darling, it was the smoldering violin. You can't miss it. You can't mistake it.
Does that ring any bells?
No, I never heard of this thing.
Okay.
And walk us through what you know about the night that it was burgled, or the time.
Oh, it was just last night. I enjoyed its beauty just the day before. And then this morning, this horror.
Who else was in the house between last night and this morning?
Well, I, Max, and a burglar, obviously.
Aren't you hosting someone right now?
No.
So the girl from the other shore?
Oh, dear, that was months ago. We need to focus on today. I can't think about such things.
Yeah, now you know these we have some leads, you see, so we do need to know a little bit about the person you were hosting. I'm not saying that they were.
I can't think about that right now. I've got to think about my violin.
I nod over to you. Some furniture rearranging.
I'm hesitant. It seems like you guys are doing quite well on your own at the moment. Yeah, I don't...
Can anyone talk to ravens?
They can talk, right?
Yeah, we can't talk. We can't understand them, I don't think.
We don't speak their language, but they can talk.
I say, how about your two ravens? Were they in here?
So I'm going to draw a new card with this new scene. And it is the Revealing Knife, which enhances pale magic and is of the Visions family. So if you are the Visions family, it is enhancing your actions.
I think I'd like to attempt to persuade her to tell us about the girl from the other shore. So I'm going to step in and say, isn't it interesting that they stole the violin but not the bow? I heard that the girl from the other shore had a connection with, also had something stolen, and I'm going to try to sort of draw a connection there.
So you're deceiving her, you're doing a bluff, that kind of a thing. That's the kind of skill that would apply here.
Yeah. So I only have 2 venture.
Okay.
And I roll a 2.
She says, can we stay on the topic at hand?
That's some heavy furniture.
My violin is missing. Don't you understand the significance?
What is the significance?
My violin is missing.
I thought there was a greater significance. I'll just begin to...
It was the smoldering violin, for goodness sakes.
Oh, right.
A piece which dates back almost 150 years.
So it was an art piece, not an actual violin.
What on earth do you mean by that, good sir? Of course it was an actual violin.
Oh, okay.
Why, it was owned and played by the great Trishan himself. Surely even people such as you know who Trishan... The concerts that he would perform. Oh, you people.
I think we might be able to best serve you if we're able to look for ways that the burglar may have gotten in, clues that they may have left, so that we can find them and your violin in the most expedient manner. Would you mind letting Max show us through entry points to the house?
That's fine, but wouldn't we like to recover the violin first?
Do you know where it is?
No.
Then we must gather clues in order to trace it to where it has gone to.
Darling, I'm a Visley.
Okay, as are we.
Really?
I don't laugh at all.
Well, then I'm sure you understand. I'll just simply cast a spell upon the bow. The bow will lead you to the violin.
Oh, of course.
Then you can come back and look for your clues or whatever.
That sounds lovely. Let's do that.
I mean, punishing the guilty and that's all wonderful, but I want my violin back.
Understood.
All right. If we get your violin back, then you will talk to us about another topic of which we have interest in, right?
What other? There are no other topics.
Fair enough. We will talk to you about it once you've ensorcelled your bow here.
So she, as she says, goes over, she gets off from her couch, goes over, pulls the bow out from the case that's just kind of laying there, and she casts a spell over it, and she hands it to you.
Are her hands checkered too?
Yes, all of her skin that you can see. It's all checkered. And as soon as you hold that bow, sure enough, it begins like a compass, like a divining rod starts to point in a certain direction.
But it doesn't match my outfit, and I look very put out. But where is it leading us first?
It's leading you toward the front door of her house.
All right.
We'll be back with your violin.
I do hope so.
I almost like her.
So close.
Some of our kind are very strange people.
Do the ravens react at all during this whole conversation?
They're just kind of watching.
Just watching.
Okay. Let's follow this beautifully made bow and see where it leads us.
All right. As you walk out, you can hear her say, "Oh, Max, I wish they gave me a little bit more confidence."
Oh.
I'll give you some confidence.
We're going to go up from here.
Hold my tongue. Just as we want stuff with it.
All right. The bow seems to just sort of be gently guiding you out through the square and pointing you to one of the many archways leading out of the square. If you were to follow it directly, it would take you right across the maze. But you could also easily just walk around it if you wanted to.
Okay.
Are we curious about this maze?
But
We do have to come back.
That's true.
or you could
I'm
actually
also curious about the books.
take the maze and hold the bow and see what happens.
Ooh, wouldn't it give you the right answer out of the maze?
Yeah, maybe.
I somehow doubt I can just see that being like, you take every turn and it tells you to go the other way. Okay, I resist the urge to steal the
I just
gentleman's
follow you
book.
however direction you go.
Okay, I put the wand under my arm like it's some sort of umbrella or something. I'm trying not to look too obvious.
Dorky.
Just
throwing it out there.
I've come a long way from my days in shadow. Okay, I worked very hard on this, and I'm not about to lose it. So we follow it through the archway.
Okay. All right. So you follow this guiding bow. We turn over the untrustworthy mirror, which is, once again, enhancing mysteries and also gold magic. So that's anything that has to do with transformation and whatnot. And you follow this down the street, down another street, down an alleyway, over a bridge.
We really should have had little cakes before we took on this adventure.
And it is leading you right up to the door of a very large house. Big, grand double doors at the top of a short flight of stairs, big windows of stained glass, kind of gray stone home. And you notice that above the doorway, there is a series of musical notes.
Interesting.
All right. Any preparations we'd like to make before finding this burglar?
Have do we know that, like, do we know of anyone in this area who, like, you know, is a musician or runs a music school or anything like that? Like, do we have any knowledge of that might give us a little clue?
You can attempt a roll. You'd use knowledge if you wanted to modify it.
Does anybody want
I'm pretty skilled in searching, so if that might help. That's more like here, though.
to? Yeah, we're just seeing
I'll
what we
make a
know.
roll for and use a bene and intellect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sorry.
Nope. And that will be a venture of 1, and I roll 9.
Nice.
That was my first roll.
Well done.
Nice.
Fine.
So
that was a success.
Oh yeah.
That's a record
That's
state.
actually excellent.
Oh,
right. Your rivalry
My
is now
rivalry
activated.
is activated. So next time, whatever I do next. Ooh.
All right. So,
Because I say, actually, reminding you of...
Oh, my neighbor. Oh, you horror.
Savion, you know this to actually be the home. Not a person that you've ever met or whatever, just someone you kind of heard of. And it's someone by the name of Kiana Leiter. And she is a well-known collector of various musical instruments and other memorabilia of importance as far as music goes. And quite a renowned musician herself.
Raven doesn't fly far from the roost, I say, and I say that I relate all this information.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she has some beautiful pieces in there. I can't wait to see what she's got.
Don't eat them.
I don't know if I can eat musical instruments. So far, only books.
You eat a book of music.
Oh, that's wonderful.
that would be good.
I'm going to try that.
Knock, 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 knock.
Okay. Unlike before, there isn't any immediate answer, but it does come eventually. The door opens up, and there is an older woman. She's dressed rather simply. You would guess her to be, like a cleaning woman or something like that. And she's got a sooty apron on, and she's putting away a feather duster, and she just says, "Yes."
We're here to see Kiana.
Oh, it's been a very busy day. Is she expecting you?
Of course.
Come in.
Following your lead on that one.
Oh, yeah.
She says, you'll have to wait here in the foyer.
We have news about one of her, favorite items of collection, Trishan. I think you may want to bring us straight to her. But do as you will. You know how she can be.
You're going to have to be persuasive again.
Yeah.
Can I help? Okay.
Yeah.
Provide a venture for you.
Excellent. That
Is
would
she
be great.
close enough to me to get the unrequited bond?
Almost certainly.
All right.
Oh, yay. Okay. This is looking less dire than it was a moment ago. Okay, I'll spend... So my venture will be...
1 for me.
Yeah, 3. Plus my training, so 6.
6.
And I rolled a 7.
Wow.
Okay.
Just so persuasive, guys.
And she kind of makes a face, and she says, "Well, all right. That's a funny coincidence." And she starts walking down the hallway.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I was like, yes. Yeah. Okay.
She leads you into this room. It must be the majority of the interior of this house, this one single great hall. And it is filled with all sorts of musical instruments. Probably the most prominent is one whole end of the hall is made up of a pipe organ, and each one of the pipes ends in what looks like an actual human mouth, like the holes where the music comes from, the air comes from. And but there's cellos and trombones and drums and guitars and all different sorts of things, each one of them very lovingly displayed. And at the far end, kind of near the organ, there is a woman She is dressed smartly but simply. She has her long hair is pulled back behind her head, and she's talking with someone else. And they're having a heated conversation, and the person that she's speaking with, you can't really see too much of them. You can kind of see that the person's kind of tall and thin, has on some kind of suit with a jacket, but is carrying a large bag. And the bag, little whiffs of smoke coming up out of the bag.
Delightful.
And the first woman, the woman with the longer hair, looks at all of you and says, yes. And then she looks over sort of at the cleaning woman, who kind of just suddenly hustles off.
Yeah, reads the room very quickly.
Yes, she says.
I wave the bow a little bit of the smoldering violin. I'm not sure if it... So, do either of those people look at all interested in the bow?
It's like a treat.
So at this point, the other person does turn.
Okay.
And she is sort of a very athletic build, tall woman. But the most prominent thing about her is beneath her short-cut dark hair, she has really big round glasses, and each one of the lenses in the glasses bears the number 2. So you can't actually see her eyes. They just look like 2 great big tubes.
Wow.
And she seems to kind of look at the bow and cock a brow above those glasses. But the other woman will say again, yes.
Is 2 holding the bag?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
The constabulary has a lot of interest in what we're doing here today. So why don't we get down to it? And I just sort of walk up to them. Does that seem to scare the collector into anything? Basically accusing her of illegal activity.
What kind of perception skills does the...
Yeah, I have some skills in searching, stealth and magical lore, which probably is probably not lore-y enough.
Okay. Probably none of those skills apply, but a perception, you can use a perception bene.
Absolutely do that.
And see if you can see if there's any reaction.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit tricky because, her actual eyes are completely concealed from you, and they are the window to the soul.
Yes, they are. So my venture was 1, and I rolled a 7, so 8.
Okay, great. You see that she just tenses a little bit, almost kind of getting into a maybe ready to run, ready to do something else kind of pose or something like that.
And that's the 2, but the other woman doesn't respond that way. Okay.
In fact, she seems to be, her annoyance at you walking in seems to be even greater as you are crossing the room toward her. And remember, this is a big hall. You're kind of coming in on one end.
True.
And the new card here is, as the conditions of magic change, is the mysterious rune. Belongs to the family of secrets and is enhancing red magic, which is destruction and violence.
I will say to our Kiana, sorry. I think you are about to receive stolen merchandise.
Who are you people?
I work on behalf of the woman who owned this instrument up until yesterday.
And she turns and looks at 2, and 2 says to her, who you're assuming is probably Kiana, she says, I have no idea what they're talking about. I think they're just interlopers. Perhaps...
She's lying.
And she says, in fact, perhaps they're also interested in what I have to sell. And Kiana says, look, if you are if you are here under some authority, why don't you show me some identification or papers or badges or something of that nature?
This is almost certainly not going to work. However, I look so happy. I pull out my business card that I've handmade, because nobody has business cards for the Order of the Honed Thought, because we're not really that kind of organization anymore.
When we met her and she did this to us.
Yes, every time.
And so I present. I am the Cicatrix. Member of the Order of the Honed Thought at your service, and of course, interested citizenry.
The Order of Honed Thought? What? What did they have to do with this?
Why we are?
What exactly do you think is going on here?
Are you buying the smoldering violin?
I'm not exactly sure what business that is
'Cause it was
of the
stolen
Order of the Honed Thought.
It was stolen from Audsley, its owner, this morning or last night.
Last night.
And she turns again to the figure in the glasses and she says, Is any of this true?
We were just at Audsley's home and the case with the bow was broken into. She cast a spell on the bow and it led us to the stolen goods here.
And the woman with the two glasses says, "Oh, I understand now." And then she says, kind of conspiratorially toward Kiana, "Audsley Baron also wants the violin."
Because she's the owner, I say to Kiana, and would like it back. If you buy the stolen violin, it's only going to put you into a situation of trouble going forward. Why don't we just...
Is that a threat?
No, I'm just trying to make sure to keep you out of trouble in the future. Why don't we just talk to Audsley Baron, all of us together?
They're very smooth talkers, too, says. But they're just trying to fool you into having one of us give them the violin for nothing. And we both know it's worth much more than that.
She's a smooth talker.
Yeah, she's crossing my moral code.
Why don't we settle this with the facts? I have a bow that is purportedly the other part of this smoldering violin, which presumably, if you were buying this, you would want together with the bow. Why don't we take a look and see if they truly are partners?
Tu says to Kiana, "Everyone knows that the bow to the smoldering violin was lost long ago."
And yet here it is.
Okay.
Lost things can be found, thief.
And Kiana says, "Well, I had heard that it was just consumed in the playing of the violin. So what exactly is it that you are hoping to achieve?" What will
This bow led us here. They were associated. So let's pull out the violin. You can see that this bow is actually pointing towards the violin, which...
And Tu says, simple spell. Any bow can point to any violin.
Only if they were in association with this particular spell, which means that this bow was in association with this violin. So it shows that that's where we came from, or the place it was just taken from, which was Audsley Baron's house.
Or it could be a minor spell of psychokinesis, just making the bow point wherever you wish it to point.
How far is Audsley's home from here?
It's, it probably took you 10 minutes to get here. Maybe 15.
I know it's in Kiana's best interest to believe too.
Can I weave a spell to teleport me back to Audsley's place?
If you have that much sorcery.
It says that's a level 6 to teleport. Move 50 miles instantly.
Okay.
Level 6?
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. Can you get back? Or do you not care?
I could rest and then come back.
Okay.
Everything. So, all right. I spend 6 sorcery.
And where exactly are you trying to go?
Audsley's doorstep.
Okay.
Inside or outside?
Outside. I'm not going to show up in her house.
Okay.
What does that look like when you just disappear?
I disappear in a burst of fire and smoke.
Oh, that can't be good for our cause.
I'll be back.
Oh, he always does that.
It's very dramatic.
Hold, please.
And Kiana says, look, my associate here has come with references, with a letter of introduction, and you have just barged in. Perhaps we could make an appointment and talk at a later date about this situation?
We could, although Audsley Baron will be here momentarily, and then you can see what she has to say about this.
And why will Audsley Baron also be barging into my house?
Well, you have stolen property here. I'm sorry, it's the truth. And
says,
that means that you are complicit.
I wish you all to leave now. I have been accused of crimes that
if you buy from this woman,
happy about.
I point to 2. If you buy from this woman, you will be. If you do not,
Please leave.
All right.
We don't actually know that Adson
by persuasion
told us the truth.
I scuttle out.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the front door, I think, or I'm gonna go to the front door because we don't know Audley any more than we know these people.
That's true. Just because she's famous doesn't mean that she's.
The numbers in the woman's glasses turn to 3.
What is that?
I do not like her. She is very lucky that
cool glasses.
we are on trade. Okay, so do we?
I think we should leave and let we found out where it is. We can tell Audsley Baron who the thief is. I mean, to some extent,
true. She can get her own violin.
As you get to the front door and get ready to leave, the cleaning woman comes over to you, and she says, "I don't like the look of that woman in the glasses. I don't trust her. I don't think you should leave."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're on the front doorstep, right? The other thing is Seru's gonna come back.
We haven't left it
inside. Oh, we're still inside.
You're in the foyer.
I think that I should go rearrange 3's furniture a little bit, and so that we can talk to Kiana clearly.
I'm gonna cast a spell. It's the Invigilator. I conjure a small translucent spirit to keep watch, and so nice. I'm gonna hope that it sort of is tucked into a little pocket of mine, or otherwise sort of keeping out of view. But I'm going to instruct it to watch for sudden secret movements of 2, or if basically if they see 2, let me know where they are. So, are we going back in?
I think we should go. We should have a plan though.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. So I can make it so that 2-3 doesn't say anything or take action and interfere with our conversation, so that we can actually talk to Kiana.
Okay.
If we could somehow isolate 2-3, it seems like perhaps she's having some sort of negative influence. I say to the cleaning lady.
Yeah.
Kiana, is that what you're feeling?
She doesn't know. She just doesn't like her.
I mean, we don't really know what's going on, but I want a chance to talk.
So it sounds like you're gonna go back in, and
I'm gonna try and isolate 3 from everyone else.
Okay, so next time we'll find out what happens when Seru returns, presumably, and everyone else goes in and tries to get their hands on this violin.
Oh man.